Hello, I'm Colleen Condo from Charleston, and I'm part of the South Carolina Voter Protection Team for the Democratic Party. I want to start the videos by describing the 3 zones that we have. A lot of the work that we're going to be asking people to do with voter protection is inside the polls. Inside the polling place, the poll managers and poll clerks are the employees of the Election Commission who are running the actual election. And what we're asking you to do is to be a poll watcher. With that, it means that you're watching the process to make sure that every voter who has a right to vote gets to vote, and helping them make that happen. If you see a very smooth process where there's no problems at all, and you think that you hear of various issues that come up and they're being addressed well by the poll managers, then certainly please let your boiler room know that. It may be that we ask you to go outside and be a candidate representative or move you to another polling place. Now, I want to describe these zones where you are. If you're inside, you're a poll watcher, and as a poll watcher inside, the only thing you can wear is your badge that you've been given that says Poll Watcher, Democratic Party. And you're going to be surprised to hear, but there is a specific maximum size for this and a specific maximum size for the letters on the badge. No letter can be bigger than a 1/4 inch. So that is part of what we have done in preparing these badges for you. Put your name on it. Note it does not say what precinct, so that you can easily move from precinct to precinct if needed. And of course, in many polling places now, you might find 5 or 6 precincts in one polling place, depending on how yours is set up. So inside, I cannot talk about the campaign. I cannot urge people to vote. All I can do is wear my poll watcher sign and talk to the poll manager. I can't even talk to the voters, but I can talk to the poll managers and clerks about the voters. We'll talk more on other videos about poll watching specifically. But let's talk about the other roles you could have or others could have. What if Katie Arrington walks into your polling place and you're here asking people to vote for her or thanking people for voting for her? That is not allowed. A candidate cannot specifically campaign inside. But a candidate can do things like talk to the voters that they know. So it is completely valid to say, "Hey Joe, love seeing your daughter score a goal in the soccer game last week." Chatting people up, saying thanks for being here. All of that is legal and appropriate, and a candidate can do it inside. This is specified on page 42 of the Poll Manager's Handbook now. It used to be you could wear a badge with your name and office inside. So it used to be you could wear a Joe Cunningham Congress badge inside. They no longer allow that inside. Now, what about when you step outside the door? So as people are approaching the polling place, there are 3 zones. It's a 200-foot mark first. So outside of 200 feet, you can do anything that is legal. Have signs, hand out water, hand out drinks that might have a Joe Cunningham sticker attached to them. You absolutely can have a James Smith t-shirt, James Smith materials, or any Democratic candidate, and you can hand out what you want, and you can have signs. As of the 200-foot mark, all the way up to the door, is a kind of middle zone. And in that middle zone, a candidate or a candidate representative can talk to voters. You cannot hand out materials, and you can't wear campaign badges that urge people to vote for a particular candidate. But I can stand outside the door and say, "Hope you're supporting James and Mandy," or "Hope you're supporting my friend J.A. Moore." I can absolutely talk about candidates, and I can campaign outside the door. I just can't hand out materials or wear a badge. Now, if I'm the candidate, I'm allowed to be outside, but I'm also allowed to wear a badge no larger than 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, only with the candidate's name and office sought. Now, can anybody stop me from talking to voters outside? The rules do say that when I do it, I cannot intimidate voters or interfere with the orderly election process. This is on page 42. So a poll manager could come outside and say you're doing so. If you are approached, please call your boiler room so we can discuss that with you. Now, if I go outside and I'm talking to folks, while it doesn't say I have to take this off, it doesn't say I can wear a badge either. So I would take your poll watcher badge off if we ask you to go outside and be a candidate representative. So as a reminder, 3 zones, 200 feet, we can do anything. 200 feet to outside at the front door, we can greet. We can talk about the campaign specifically, but we can't wear promotional materials or hand them out. And inside, the candidate even can't wear a name tag and cannot campaign, but can greet people. As a poll watcher, they ask you not to talk to folks, but again, there's no reason why you can't say hello and things like that. If you were reprimanded for such, please call your boiler room. Now, do we care where that 200 feet actually is? Well, honestly, I personally don't care whether that sign spot starts at 190 feet or 200 or 220, as long as the rules applied fairly to everybody. So if you think it's way too close or way too far, you can bring a tape measure and determine where it should be, but I'd ask you to call us before you confront the poll managers so we can discuss it. It may be that it's really important in light of how the external parking lot is set up. But in general, as long as the rules apply fairly, we would say you're good. So I hope this has been helpful in explaining the 3 zones at a polling place.